Hello everyone, I'm Extra Cheesy 87 and this is a Let's Play Yakuza 3 Part 45. In the previous video we ran all over town trying to solve the case of the Cafe Alps Murder. There was some tilt involved when I forgot that the game told me, to go talk to the florist a couple of videos ago, but those videos were recorded like several days ago, so I didn't remember, and then there was just a lot of random combat that annoyed me because, well, for all the reasons, and look at it. Talked about it related to the case, but it doesn't look like it's going to be easy to prove Yuichi Akechi's innocence. Shimito, okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Fortunately, okay, this is actually kind of close. I was going to say, unfortunately, there's no fast travel spot that's nearby, but that was a lie. Funny seeing you here. What's up? Take one of my clients out on town. We're in the area, so I thought I'd drop in and see you. Taking your client out on the town? Don't you mean you're going to one of those host clubs? Client just happens to like host clubs. Really? Just a coincidence. Speaking of which, isn't your perfume a bit strong tonight? Really? I didn't think so, but... Look at the time. Okay, gotta go. Skirt. It's just not really moving that fast. That Yuko. Who was that woman talking to Kinoshita? It's Kinoshita-san's wife, Yuko-san. Kinoshida's wife? How'd you know that? She actually used to work here. That's how I know her. She worked here? Is that so? That's right. She'd already quit by the time the murder happened, though. And she wasn't on the security tapes of the dining area, so she definitely wasn't at the cafe that day. See. Doesn't sound like Kinoshida's wife Yuko is involved in the case, but maybe I should look into her anyway. Okay. What about the lady that we clearly need to look into? Unless that's just her for some reason and she has a different name. Which doesn't really make any sense, but whatever. That is one thing that's slightly annoying about this case, is that it's like, we clearly have all this evidence, and Kiryu's just like too dumb to put it together. Okay, Yuko, because I mean, what did it say the name was? A woman named Saito? And presumably, I often visit host clubs. Guess we can go to Stardust. That's the only really host club we know of that we could potentially enter. We can try and take the long way. That's another thing that annoys me so much about the way the combat encounters work, is that sometimes you just can't avoid them without having to go halfway across town, and then you never know if you're going to run into an unavoidable one doing that. Because, I mean, if we walked across that street there, there's nothing we could do to not get into combat there. Nobody here, Kiryu. Kiryu, there's nobody here. Kiryu. Is that... That's like Kinoshida's wife, Yuko. Ah, Kiryu-san! What brings you here? What can you tell me about that woman over there? Who? Oh, you mean Yuko-san? She's been a regular customer of ours for years. What do you want with her? She looks awful rich for somebody so young. She manages a venture-funded startup. The company got popular making products targeted young women. It's been growing pretty fast over the last 4 or 5 years. That's so. Hey Yuya, is it time for me to talk about that time I owned Kamurocho? Gosh, good times. Yuya, who is that? I haven't seen him here before. Is he a new host? Yuko-san, this is Kiryu-san. We owe a lot to this man here, and no, he's not a host. I see. Well, that's unfortunate. This is my company, by the way. If you ever need anything, just give me a call. sure. We'll have to look at your fingerprints. Tonight was fantastic. We're looking forward to seeing you again, you fool. You just handed me the keys to the damn kingdom. Collected all the information I can right now. I should have been able to go back and see Detective Maeda earlier. Instead, you're like, no, you gotta talk to the florist. I mean, I guess the fingerprints are gonna be important because I don't really know like what this woman has to do with the other lady though. The other lady who seems way more suspicious. Unless they're just the same person, I don't know. I mean, I guess they could be using a different name. I don't know. Doesn't really make much sense, but where's the business card? Fishing Champ magazine. Oh, we still have Mitsuo's clothes. Anybody see a business card in here? I don't think you're supposed to keep the plane ticket. Do you? Or maybe you do. I don't know. Yuko offices. Ah, Yuko Saito! Okay. So, for some reason they were just, well, I guess they were just referring to her by her last name earlier. Okay. I guess kind of makes sense. It's just kind of weird for, you know, the West. Please fuck off and die. Alrighty. Nope. Still don't see anything off about any of this. I mean, yeah, you got all this evidence that just says there could be another shoot on the grassy knoll, but I don't... Okay, let's not... I don't know, it just popped into my head. Do you have a minute? For the record, I don't believe in any JFK conspiracy theories. Did you find proof of Akechi's innocence yet? What was that you were looking at? Oh, this is a list of evidence we made during the investigation 6 years ago. Why does this just say, I want this guy to have done it because I want to go drinking tonight and I don't really care to investigate? Oh, well, you know, those are just my notes at the time. You're taking such a hard look at this case, I thought I'd better take another glance myself. Can I see that? I guess. You won't find anything wrong with any of it. I just can't figure out why you think Akechi's innocent. List of evidence. Wait a minute. What's this? What's what? I finally got it. Is it really this simple all along? No mistake about it. Somebody framed Akechi. Nani? What? Are you serious? Yeah, I'll explain everything. But first, I need you to round up everybody related to the case. What? I don't want to do that. You know how much alcohol I've poured in my ear hole? Jesus, man, I'm zooted, man. I can't fucking walk. It'll turn out fine. You'll see. Okay, just don't blame me if it doesn't. I'll gather everyone at Cafe Alps. That ought to work, right? Yeah, that's fine. They serve alcohol at Cafe Alps? Got all the evidence I need. It's time to reveal what really happened 6 years ago. Yeah, Poggy. I would have liked if you guys could have teleported me to Cafe Alps, but it's okay. I wonder if this is the longest sub-story in the at least the games we've played. I feel like it probably is. Which would be great. The only problem is A, it involves a lot of walking around and you're slow as shit in this game, and there's infinite combat. And we've actually been pretty lucky so far in dodging combat encounters. But that just means we'll pay for it later, probably. What? For you. Alright, Kiryu, let's not muck this up. Even though we probably will. Oh god, they even got the sad song playing on the Boombox. Well, I did as you asked, Detective. I closed the cafe and kicked everyone out. Now, are you gonna compensate me for this? Here, you son, this friend here would like to talk to you all. I'm gonna be pouring alcohol into my holes over here. I have you here for one reason and one reason alone. I'm sure you all remember the murder that took place here 6 years ago. The victim was Kazuo Oda-san, the manager of this cafe at the time. One of the employees, Yuichi Akechi-san, was arrested for his murder. But did Akechi-san really kill Oda-san? I'd like to ask each of you to think back to that day. Any of you have any evidence, any truly conclusive evidence that Akechi-san was really the one who killed Oda-san? I've been struggling with one question since the day of the murder. Could Akechi-san actually be innocent? Before I could find out for sure, an article I wrote implicating Akechi-san as a murderer got published. Thanks to Kiryu-san here, we finally arrived at the truth of what happened 6 years ago. But if Akechi-kun is innocent, that means someone else is guilty. Exactly. What do you base all this on, Kiryu-san? You just show them proof of Yuichi Akechi's innocence. What should I give? Proof of his innocence? I mean, none of these in and of them, like, no single one is proof. Which one do I think is the most? I mean, it's the uniform or this, I guess. Failed to witness Akechi murder Oda. I mean, that also, maybe? No one saw it happen? I mean, like, I feel like I don't know which one is the strongest. Like, I would like to use multiple. Because, I mean, this is asking me to, like, because it's like, say if we present the uniform, right? We could segue that into saying, okay, somebody else was here at the time who could have been in a uniform, but, like, I feel like that's, like, that would be further in. So maybe we just start with that, like... Because, I mean, I feel like you start with, hey, something was stolen. Asai said he didn't steal the uniform. Imagawa said his uniform was stolen. That means somebody else was here, potentially? And then there is the business card as well. So maybe we present... Because, I mean, I guess you could... we don't have all the setup beforehand, but... We know what happened, basically. Yuko was here as a customer, killed Oda because he was cheating on her. So I guess we could say, present the business card, look at it for fingerprints, boom, these fingerprints are here, Yuko was here. Because I feel like we're working backwards, because I feel like Yuko's business card should be the final thing. But... if we have to pick one piece of evidence, I think this would be it. Fuck you. I need to show why I believe he is innocent. There's many reasons. Tsunami was the one who saw Akechi fight the day of the... like, I don't know. I feel like that could have been phrased a little bit differently. Yeah, but I left in the middle of it. In other words, she didn't actually see Akechi, because it just said, what's the evidence that proves he's not innocent, or that proves he's innocent? Saying, hey, she didn't see him doesn't prove anything. And then they rephrased it as, why do I believe he's innocent? Which is not what it said at first. I'm pretty sure. In other words, she didn't actually see Akechi-san kill Oda-san. Exactly. And only Usami saw Oda and Akechi fighting. But we can't conclude Yoichi killed Oda, which means the charges against him could be false. But I mean, that's just... yeah, that's why I was kind of... because it said, what's the piece of evidence that shows he's innocent? That does not prove anything. It's one part that when you build it together proves something, but that's not what the game said. Akechi's prints were on the weapon used to kill Oda. That's solid evidence to prove Akechi did it. Is that all you have to say? Huh? What do you mean? This is your case. You ought to know Akechi's fingerprints on the murder weapon alone weren't enough to convict him. I don't follow you. Spell it out for us, will you? There's evidence, I should show them now. Well, there were a bunch of fingerprints. The ashtray used as the murder weapon hadn't been washed because it was supposed to be thrown out. Akechi's prints were the only ones on it. That means you can't prove his guilt from the fingerprints alone. Detective, is that true? Well, it's just as he says. You admit it might not have been my brother?
Yeah.
Man, it doesn't matter. They're not gonna... even if we conclude he didn't kill him, you think the courts are gonna let him free? Nah, man, they're gonna be like, yeah, okay, maybe he didn't do it, but we already convicted his ass, so he's gonna rot. That's the way the real court system works a lot of times. It's very sad. That's still not enough to prove somebody else did it. Somebody witnessed Akechi fleeing the scene. That's another piece of solid evidence. Think about it. You'd think the person actually fleeing the scene of the crime is the culprit, wouldn't you? Well, why'd they run away? They didn't do anything. What do you have to say about that? Kiryu-san, do you have any information to refute the witness statements about Akechi-san? There was a hole in one of the witness statements. I just seem to argue that angle. Something was stolen? I mean, I guess we start with this. Screw you. There was a hole in the witness statements. Oh, didn't get a look at his face. You saw Akechi fleeing the scene, right? Yes, I did. Are you sure? I'm not lying. I'm sure I saw him. But you didn't see the face of the person fleeing the scene. You said that, right? I only saw his back. Then it's possible you saw someone else. Is that all you got? At least we wouldn't arrest Akechi on just any old vague evidence. Come on, we don't do that. There's also something to prove the person Kinoshita-san saw was, in fact, Akechi. And what was that? The man Kinoshita-san saw was leaving the scene of the crime was wearing a Cafe Alps waiter uniform. The only waiters employed by Cafe Alps at the time were Kinoshita-san, Ase-san, this little fucking guy, and Akechi-san. Security tapes show Kinoshita-san and Ase-san out in front at the time of the murder. Also confirmed that Iwagawa-san was at home, trying to have sex with one of his dolls or something. Therefore, by process of elimination, the only waiter Kinoshita-san could have seen was Akechi. Is that true? No, it's absolutely possible that the person Kinoshita-san saw was not Akechi.
Nani?
Okay, so I guess we start... I mean, I would assume you start with the fact, hey, something was stolen, then you follow up with that. The uniform wasn't stolen by Ase? It was actually another crime committed at the cafe the day of the murder 6 years ago. I ordered some spaghetti and it was horrible. That's not true, I was in prison. Another crime, it's the first I've heard of it. Iwagawa-san, uniform disappeared from his locker in the Cafe Alps locker room on that day. Iwagawa-kun's uniform? Yes, my uniform disappeared from my locker. Since you weren't present the day of the murder, when did you notice it was missing? The day after Oda-san was murdered, I came to work, and the police were investigating, so I couldn't go in. Once the police left, I looked at my locker and saw my uniform was gone. They took my Madoka-chan pin. I spent 70,000 yen on that. Come on, the police probably took it as evidence. I'm sure there was plenty of stuff missing from the crime scene. You're wrong. Somebody was definitely harassing me. Everyone teased me. No, I say, Kun, why don't you tell them you took my uniform? You took everything else. The uniform must have been you, too. So whiny. Bully, police, whoever took it has nothing to do with the catchy of this case. No. Imagawa's uniform is the key to this case. Huh? What do you mean? I'll show you right now. I can show them 2 pieces of evidence. Well, first things first, this. The other piece of evidence. I don't know what this is. Oh, okay, the uniform would be listed. Look at the list of evidence I borrowed from you. There's no waiter's uniform on it. Let's see. You're right. I don't see any waiter's uniform listed. In other words, the uniform disappeared before the police showed up. Police didn't confiscate it. Who could have taken it? It was Ase-kun, right? Give me Madoka-chan back. No, not Ase. He did steal things from you, true, but he wasn't doing it to harass you. He just wanted some cash. Your wallet and CDs make sense, but your uniform wouldn't have been worth anything. Well then who did it? Oh, you mean the murderer took it? Exactly. The criminal wanted to make it look like somebody else committed the crime, so they stole the waiter's uniform and changed it. Then as soon as somebody came by, they hid their face and ran out the back exit. Is that true? Why am I clapping? You're saying the person who stole Yamagawa's uniform and fled the scene is the real criminal? Yeah. And who might that be? The real criminal is... Yes. This is the only person it could have been. Alright, we had some fuck-ups there. One of which was not my fault, one of which definitely was.
それではその人物の名前を教えてください。6年前、小田さんを殺し、明智さんに罪をかぶせた事件の真犯人とは一体？犯人は
I do declare that the killer is here in this room with us, amongst us.
お前だ。木下優子、お前が小田を殺した真犯人だ。
Orchestrated, yes. Are you serious? I can't believe it. What? I knew 3D girls weren't to be trusted. Yuko killed Oda-san? Interesting theory, but why would I kill Oda-san? I didn't have any reason to do anything like that, you fool. You absolute idiot. Your horniness will be your downfall. Uchi Akechi's motive was Sami-san's relationship with Oda-san. Naka, how are Yuko-san and Oda-san connected? I need something to prove Yuko and Oda knew each other. Something to prove they knew each other. Well, I mean, I guess we start with this, then this. I see an argument for this, then this. But I think it's this first. Oda was dating somebody at the time of the murder. Someone who used to work as a waitress at Cafe Alps. What? Is that true? Yeah, and her last name was Saito. Saito? That's Yuko's maiden name! Oh, that was supposed to be secret information that I only knew because I looked at the business card! I hear you worked at this cafe until just before the time of the murder. Yuko-san and Oda-san were dating? I didn't know that. Yuko-san, is that true? I don't have to answer that. Yuko. Oda-san was dating Yuko-san, then Sami-san was the only one cheating. Everyone's cheaters. God, this place sucks. Oda was cheating too. That means Yuko-san also had the motive to kill Oda-san. So anyone with a motive is a killer? You haven't done anything but hypothesize. Only talk about possibilities. Have any conclusive evidence she murdered it? Conclusive evidence? Like fingerprints? If only I had something with Yuko's fingerprints on it. You fool. Like I said, your horniness will be your downfall. You thought Kiryu would go for you? This is the evidence. Is that my business card? This business card has your fingerprints on it. We should be able to compare the prints on this card to the ones on the murder weapon. Give me that business card. Let's check it out right now. I will say, we still have actually no definitive proof. Not nearly enough to, like... that would be able to get this guy out of prison, probably. Much less get her arrested. We finished analyzing the prints of the car. Because usually you have to be able to, like, 100% definitively prove somebody else did the crime to get a conviction overturned. I mean, maybe it's I doubt it's different in Japan. I feel like, if anything, they might be more harsh than the U.S. And the U.S. is already really bad about, overturning cases like that. Like, I mean, it's extremely difficult. And they're in situations where it's like, people could be proven innocent, but, like, legally they're not allowed to, like, have a DNA test taken and admitted into evidence that would prove their innocence. It's complicated, but fucked up. Finished analyzing the prints of the car. These are Yuko Kinoshida's prints. These are the prints on the ashtray. There. Prints on Yuko-san's business card are the same as the ones on the murder weapon. I mean, technically all we've proven is that she was there and she had a motive. That's not really enough to convict. It's basically the same evidence that is against Akechi. How do you explain that? Even my prints are on that ashtray, so what? How does that change anything? What do you mean? I ate at Alps the day of the murder. Must have just touched the ashtray while I was there. She's right. There's no crime in touching an ashtray. She was just a customer. No, Yuko's lying. I should call her out on it. You're lying. What the hell are you talking about? There's no record of you coming to the cafe the day of the murder. Right, Detective Maeda? He's right. We had Cafe Alps employees watch all the security tapes, and they gave statements that no other cafe employees, former or otherwise, visited the cafe that day. Right, Kinoshita-san? That's right. I'd seen Yuko-san's face before, so I would have noticed she was on those tapes. She definitely wouldn't. Means you didn't come to Cafe Alps on the day of the murder as a customer. So why were your fingerprints on the ashtray then? Fine, maybe it wasn't on the day of the murder. Might have been the day before. Not that big of an issue. Nope, you had to have been here the day of the murder. You weren't a customer. You were the real murderer. The only people who could have prints on the murder weapon were those who visited the day of the murder. How'd you come to that conclusion? And now for the coup de grace. I just need something to prove when the prints on the murder weapon were made. Where was it? Yeah. The ashtrays here are cleaned every day, but your prints are still on the murder weapon. That means you had to have been here the day of the murder. But the day of the murder, a customer dropped the ashtray, chipping it. Yuichi Akechi saw the chipped ashtray and instead of washing it, decided to throw it out. Since you couldn't have come to the cafe as a customer that day, that's the only time you could have left the prints on the ashtray. You did it after Akechi dropped the ashtray in the locker room when he witnessed Asami cheating on him with Oda. Sometime after Akechi left and before Kinoshita came to check on him, you entered the locker room and murdered Oda. Then you put on Imagawa's uniform and went out the back. Isn't that right? What Kiryu-san says true? That would also mean, like, so she, like, came here incognito as well? That's the one thing that doesn't really make much sense, is they're like, okay, nobody saw her there, so she just, like, snuck in somehow? It just so happened to be right then, too? Is what Kiryu-san says true? I mean, I guess maybe she was, like, already knew they were cheating and planned to do it ahead of time? I don't know. I just feel like it's not really the best... I mean, I guess technically she got away with it, but, like... If I was gonna murder someone, I wouldn't murder them in that situation. It seems a little too risky. Only get worse if you stay quiet. Shut up! Told you I didn't do it. I give up. Yuko, I'm putting an end to this. What? Do you know something, Kinoshita-san? I knew you came to the cafe that day, Yuko. What? How? I could smell you. It was very faint, but I could smell your perfume all around the crime scene. No way. Why didn't you say this earlier? I've been in love with Yuko ever since we worked together. That's why I knew the scent of her perfume the minute I smelled it. Still not enough evidence to convict someone on murder. Sometime after the murder, I happened to run into her again. Eventually we started dating. One day I brought up the murder and her face went white. She felt quiet and avoided commenting on anything. That's when I was sure Yuko had been with the day of the crime. Well, I'll be. I still didn't know exactly what that meant, or could say I didn't want to know what that meant. I found out Kiryu-san was looking into that old crime. I decided to keep it all a secret. Now Yuichi Akechi has suffered 6 years for a crime he didn't commit. All because I didn't say anything. Bro, this place only employs pieces of shit. Seems like the answer. I mean, it's like the coolest guy here. It's the guy I make fun of, the Sega dude. He's the most based individual in this room. It's all my fault. I had just spoken up, none of this would have happened. Gee, Kinoshita-san.
Yuko さん、今一度尋ねます。あなたが小田さんを殺したんですか?
I mean, just don't admit anything. If you don't admit anything, they got nothing on you. See, you fool. You idiot. That's why you're not a criminal mastermind. Because a confession, that could maybe get you. Because right now, all we have is that we have, like, the possibility that somebody else did it. Which isn't really enough to get anyone. The only reason it got Yuichi is because there was no other possible person. But it's still, like, despite all our evidence, you could argue that that's incidental and Yuichi did it. Just the way we can argue that all the evidence against Yuichi is incidental and she did it. So you fool. If you hadn't admitted anything, you were fucking scot-free. This is how you know rich people are stupid. Well, you give me a statement that Yuichi Akechi is innocent. When she was poor and working at the cafe, she was smart. Now that she's become a venture capitalist, her IQ's gone down considerably. Akechi's had nothing to do with the murder. Yuko, how could you have done such a thing? Really just because Oda-san was cheating? Of course that's what it was about. He said he was gonna marry me. Okay, so she was just there incidentally? Okay. Well, because I was wondering, because that didn't really make sense for it to be a planned murder, because this does not seem like a very good spot to pull off a pre-planned murder when there's a bunch of potential witnesses. But there was no explanation for why she would just randomly be there.
裏口から入ってロッカールームに向かったわ。でもそこで見たのは他の女と浮気してる彼の姿だった。私はとっさに身を引いて隠れた。落ち着いて目の前で何が起きてるのか理解しようと努めたわ。そのすぐ後に明智さんがやってきた。明智さんはロッカールームの中を覗いて小田さんと宇佐美さんの浮気現場を目撃すると、手に持っていた灰皿を落とし小田さんに掴みかかっていったわ。言い争うような声が聞こえた後、すぐに宇佐美さんがロッカールームから出てきて裏口から店の外へ出て行ったわ。すぐに明智さんも宇佐美さんの後を追って店の外へ出て行ってしまった。明智さんと宇佐美さんが出て行った後、私はロッカールームの中へ入っていった。小田さんは私の姿を見てすごいびっくりしたみたいだったけど、浮気がバレたことが分かると開き直って別れ話を切り出してきたわ。宇佐美と一緒になるつもりだから別れてくれってね。その言葉を聞いた途端、完全に頭に血が上っちゃって、気がついたら近くに落ちてた灰皿で小田さんを殴っていたわ。
Got some good upper body strength. Take him out one shot.
それからは桐生さんが言った通りよ。私はロッカーにあった制服に着替えて、わざと裏口の前で誰かが来るのを待っていた。少しして誰かが客席の方からやってきたから、顔を見られないようにして裏口から出て行った。
I mean, I feel like this is probably the worst part. Like, murder's bad. Oh, show. Murdering and then trying to frame someone else? Like, bad times two? I mean, I wouldn't say I can understand killing Oda because, I mean, I think cheating is awful, but it's not, you know, you don't give someone the death sentence over it. But yeah, I mean, I think the most despicable part is actually trying to frame someone else.
それで、部外者の自分には絶対に疑いがかからないだろうって思ったわ。
Several years passed. I ran into Kinoshita-san and eventually we got married. Started selling things as a hobby and it soon turned into a business. Before I knew it, grew into a large company. Been 6 years since that day and my life's been going so well. Can't believe the truth came out now, of all times. Do you ever think what it felt like for Akechi-san to have to bear these false charges? No, because I'm a piece of shit. I murdered someone. What it felt like to be knocked down to rock bottom, to have his freedom stolen from him these past 6 years? I think what would have happened if we hadn't revealed the truth just now. How many more years would he have to suffer? Only the person who took Akechi-san's freedom away can give it back. You need to turn yourself in. Testify in front of a court and pay for your crimes. Can I escort you to the station? Yuko? I'll be right here waiting for you. Why the fuck would you be waiting for her? She's a despicable human being, you piece of garbage. You're just as bad. I guess it makes sense. Extra, extra! Guilty criminal of 6-year-old murder turns herself in. The man originally accused of the crime now stands to be acquitted at a new trial. Actually, no, the judge said, never mind, I don't have to order a new trial legally. This isn't enough evidence to overturn the previous conviction. He's gonna stay in prison forever. So, extra, extra. I was wrong about the media. I thought you just went from one person to the next, looking for gossip. I didn't think you cared about the people in your articles. I think you just forgot about them the second they left your pages. You've been worrying about my brother this whole time. He even proved his innocence. There are decent people in the media. Thank you so much for helping him. Somi-san. I have to apologize for the way I treated you. I want to give you a reward for helping me get a retrial for my brother. And plus, it was never his fault. The media case should have had literally zero impact on the court case. That's a failing of the justice system.
Yeah.
Now, it'd be one thing if it was like he was acquitted and then everybody thought he was guilty because of like an article this guy wrote and he was like treated like shit as a result. But like, him writing an article that seems to implicate the guy as the killer is not the reason he got convicted. He got convicted because the justice system failed. You don't owe me anything. As much as I hate to admit it, I didn't do anything on this one. Proving your brother's innocence was all the work of Kiryu-san here. I certainly don't deserve any reward from you. What are you talking about? You did what a real journalist is supposed to do. Outsource their work.
Eh?
What do you mean? Sure, you wrote an article saying Akechi was a murderer, but now you've written an article clearing his name. Isn't that the way a real journalist is supposed to resolve things? Sure, but I won't let this be the end of it. I'll continue to follow the truth until the day I put down my pen. Well, don't really write things with pen anymore. It's the year 2009. What am I, a boomer? That's my duty as a reporter. I'll be cheering you on. $200,000 yen, and we should have gotten 200,000 experience points. That quest was longer than some of the chapters in this game. Like, if you just mainline I think that quest is actually longer than almost all the chapters if you were to just, like, mainline the main story. Which is cool. I don't mean that as a criticism. I actually really like that there's, like, a super long sub-story in this game. You know, I got a little annoyed at the one part where I didn't know to go to the florist, but other than that, that's a very cool sub-story. Except for the part where the dude's like, oh yeah, I forgive you, or whatever, because I'm, like, horny. I don't know. I mean, I just feel like that's such a despicable thing to do. Murdering someone and then knowingly framing someone else and then keeping it hidden for over half a decade. We'll do one more sub-story over here, see what, I guess it's probably the, Dodgy Man is still over here. Every sub-story in this parking lot involves a dodgy person. Our name's been soiled, for crying out loud. Not at least one of you chatterheads want to do something about it. You're pretty much the Anarchy of all Anarchy, so why don't you go take care of it, Anarchy? Oh, I intend to. I'm just embarrassed that one man got the best of both of you, smacking one and outrunning the other. You two ought to be outright ashamed. That chump won't touch me next time, so you just leave him to me, man. You can't be serious. Didn't this same man knock you flat on your ass, what, 2 years ago? So what? You saying you can beat him? That's exactly what I'm saying. It's the whole damn reason I came to this filthy stink town. What's going on here? You again? So this is the legendary, the infamous guy who beat the first two Mr. Tribe brothers. Yes, he sure looks the part. I definitely wouldn't try and randomly fight him on the street and end up with my spine broken. That would be foolish. Why do people do that in this town? Who are you supposed to be? I'm the slickest and snazziest of the trio. They call me Mr. Try and Catch Me. How many of you are there? Here's the deal. I run through the streets of Kamurocho and you chase after me. If you somehow manage to catch me, I give you the prize money. That's the operation. I'll have you know we were trained by, we're a disciple of Mac. Nobody can run away from us, probably. Do you run away from people for a living? Got a problem with it, bud? I'm quick as grease lightning on the speedway. I don't know how you put grease on lightning. If I'm being completely honest, never really got that metaphor. So don't underestimate me. Besides, catching someone's a hell of a lot harder than running away. Does sound like a challenge. Then why not give it a shot? All our pride's at stake here. I won't hesitate to leave you sulking and stranded. It'll cost you 10,000 yen up front. Catch me and I'll pay you 10 times your ante. 100,000 yen. But hey, I get it. If you're quaking in your loafers, ain't a big deal. 100,000 yen is tempting. Alright. I'll take you on. Good. But first I'll take your 10 grand. I trust that won't be a problem. And then I run away really fast. Haha, you will never catch me. Because if it's a great plan. Because we already agreed that I was going to run away with your money. Seeing that money with interest soon enough. I like that confidence. Okay then, I'll be running through the streets of this here city. And if you can catch me before time runs out, that 100 grand's all yours. Think you can run like the wind? Catch up with the mirage? You better move your ass, cause I'm gone. Where is he? I don't even see him. Oh. Not a good start. Probably the worst of all. He has no HP. Bro! I mean, that was our opening. Bro! I dodged him. I mean, thankfully I only had to hit him the one time. What? Ah, fuck. Usually I keep running to the car and they run on past me and then I run the other way, you see? Yeah. Looks like I win. Yeah, you got me. You're a real speed demon. You know that? Can't believe you didn't fall for my run into a car trick. I always get some. Ain't surprising you gave my brothers a run for the dough. Guess I should hand you that 100,000 grand. You can count it up in front of me if you like. Thanks. Mind if I ask you something? How in the hell you end up getting to be such a tough bastard? I guess I just hate to lose. So I do what it takes to come out on top. Ah, so you like an anime guy. I get it. I feel you, man. Despite my jawbreaker-like exterior, I got a soft candy-like shell underneath. So I hate getting smacked around. The job's motivation, you know? Yeah, speaking of motivation, I'm gonna catch you one of these days. Better not skip leg day at the gym. You hear? Your physique better stay on point, or else we're gonna run circles around you. Now, come on, boys. We got some training to do. Got an achievement. Complete 80 sub-stories. That's a lot of sub-stories. I cannot open my menu. I'm continuing to hit the button, and it will not let me open the menu. I don't know why it does that. Or sometimes it'll just like won't let you open the menu for like several seconds. Alright, let's go head down and find a savey boy. Then we'll call it. Now that the long Cafe Alps Murder investigation is over. Yeah, that's definitely one of the cooler sub-stories in the series, so far at least. I do like how involved it was and whatnot. Your grass. I fucking knew it. I could smell the weakness on you. Alrighty. I'm Extra Cheesy 87. Stay tuned for the next part. And bye, guys.